Hello and welcome to the Philosopher's Angle, your daily French philosophical take on the news headlines. This is an AI-generated podcast based directly on the writings of the philosophers discussed, but like all AI, it can make mistakes. In the news today, October 17th, 2024, Amazon has signed agreements with X Energy and Energy Northwest to develop small modular reactor, SMR, nuclear power technology for its data centers. The project will fund a feasibility study for an SMR project in Washington state, with Amazon having the option to purchase electricity from 4 modules. The total capacity could reach 960 megawatts, enough to power over 770,000 homes. X Energy will develop the SMRs, which are expected to generate energy virtually free of greenhouse gas emissions and provide high-paying union jobs. However, critics argue that SMRs may be too expensive and produce long-lasting radioactive waste. No U.S. SMRs exist yet, but Amazon's move supports new nuclear technologies to meet growing data center demand. Commentary inspired by the writings of Bruno Latour. In a world where the certainties of modernity have begun to unravel, we find ourselves lost in a maze of technological developments that often privilege short-term gains over long-term consequences. Amazon's recent announcement to develop small modular reactor (SMR) nuclear power technology for its data centers serves as a stark reminder of our era's penchant for hubris. As we embark on this journey with SMRs, we must confront the possibility that our modernities are built upon a flawed assumption, that human activities can be decoupled from their ecological and social consequences. We struggle to think about the intricate relationships between human beings and non-human entities on an equal footing, as Bruno Latour so astutely observed in We Have Never Been Modern. Our tendency to treat nature as separate from us has led to its instrumentalization, a notion that he critiques with characteristic nuance. In this sense, modern societies have become adept at representing nature in ways that serve our interests, rather than acknowledging its agency and perspectives. The development of SMRs is a case in point. While these reactors may generate energy virtually free of greenhouse gas emissions, they also produce long-lasting radioactive waste, a byproduct that will haunt future generations. Our focus on short-term gains has led us to neglect the long-term consequences of our actions, as Latour argued in Politics of Nature. We have become accustomed to thinking about the present moment without considering how our decisions will impact the world we leave behind. Furthermore, the concept of a parliament of things, which Latour introduced in Reassembling the Social, highlights how human activities and technological developments are often designed without considering the agency and perspectives of non-human entities like nature. In this context, the SMR project can be seen as an extension of our modernity's blind spot, a failure to acknowledge the intricate relationships between human beings and the natural world. The temporal disconnectivity that characterizes our modernities is also on full display here. We prioritize present-day interests over future sustainability, often neglecting to consider how our actions will impact generations yet to come. This disconnectivity is particularly evident in the SMR project's focus on meeting growing data center demand, without adequate consideration for the long-term consequences of radioactive waste management. As we navigate this complex landscape, it becomes increasingly clear that our modernities are built upon a fragile and flawed foundation, one that prioritizes economic growth over ecological responsibility. The development of SMRs is merely a manifestation of a deeper problem: our tendency to treat nature as a resource to be exploited rather than acknowledging its agency and perspectives. In the end, it is not just about the feasibility study for an SMR project in Washington state. It is about the kind of world we want to create. Do we continue down the path of technological hubris, where our modernities are built upon a blind spot that ignores the ecological and social consequences of our actions? Or do we take a step back and confront the possibility that our relations with non-human entities require a fundamental redefinition, one that acknowledges their agency and perspectives and seeks to create a more sustainable future for all? The choice is ours. Thank you for listening to today's episode of The Philosopher's Angle. Be sure to come back tomorrow for another reflective take on the day's news.